All right. So we talked about the Loom video. Let's talk about retention going from 3 months to 24 months. How are you handling that? Is it because your stuff works? Because you got like
no.
2 year. It's not because your stuff works. It's for
in fact, I would say our results. I focus less on our results than I ever did in my life. And I'm not saying like we don't make our clients money, because with $100 bills, you get a lot of room to be wrong. It's these 4 things, by the way. And actually, I would say the last 2 are the most important. It took me a lot of years to realize that. So when I say extras, there's an awesome book on this, by the way. If you guys get a chance to read it,
can you show that again? I think your name was like blocking it out for 2 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah,
sorry,
give me the 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, cool. Offense, communication, extra. Got it.
Yeah. So when I think of communication, we kind of talked about this earlier, but when it's been a year and everything's working and a client trusts you and they know you, you don't actually have to communicate all that much. But in the beginning, where they trust you the least, you got to make a whole bunch of it. And so if you look at it like a timeline, I call it the accordion. And at the start of it, you want to kind of like squish the accordion together, where it's very frequent communication and you give them updates before they even ask for them. And as it's been a long time and they trust you, you can stretch that accordion farther and farther in time. But in the beginning, especially, you want to design it so it's like you said, it's been 30 minutes. Well, I'm setting up the fucking campaigns, right? So you got to tell them, I'm setting up the campaigns. You may not hear from me for the next 2 to 3 hours, but it's because I'm in your Facebook ads doing a bunch of shit for you. Mm-hmm. And then the extras in this book, Never Lose a Customer Again by Joey Coleman, was a game changer for me.
That's on my to-do list. Yep.
Well, read it because it'll make you money. And I'll tell you the 2 biggest places you want to design extras, that if you're going to like, is one is the moment a client signs with you. Is a lot of clients talk about, or a lot of people talk about onboarding. I believe in something I call welcome aboard, which is like, I'm rolling out the red carpet, welcoming you as a member of my family, kind of thing. So like, I'm sending you a gift basket. I'm sending you pictures of family. I send my customer or my clients signed notes. The extras are the little things that keep clients. So I had a client, for example, just like 2 weeks ago, we were talking, and turned out we had our first car was the same. We both drove this piece of shit Oldsmobile 88. It's this old grandpa car, and it was, for whatever reason, it was his car in law school, his first car, and it was my first car. Had a little bonding moment. And he said, I didn't sell it for like 3-4 years, even after I had money coming in. And I said, why not? And he said, well, my grandpa sold it to me. He died. And the car, he used to smoke a tobacco pipe in the car, and it smelled like him, overwhelmingly when I got in the car, and it just reminded me of grandpa. So I never sold the car because it was just like keeping my connection to him. Well, I just decided to go on Amazon, and I look, tobacco pipe smell. And then the first thing that came up was there was a candle. It said tobacco pipe smell. I'm like, I wonder if this is like close. And I scrolled down to the reviews, and the first review said, smells exactly like grandpa. So I'm like, $20, send that to him as soon as humanly possible. Now, I don't know the end of the story because I'm still in this relationship, but when that client's still with me 2 years later, I promise you it's not because of my Facebook ads are so fucking awesome. Like, it's just not. And those little extras will do more for your agency. And the second place you want to design them is where you normally lose customers. So I'll tell you, most agencies lose their clients at 3 to 4 months.
Yep.
And what you don't realize is when you have them 24 months, like firstly, you only get 3 payments in the Stripe or the PayPal in your inbox. But then you also have to prospect again, run more ads, do more sales calls, do more proposals, do more
start all over again. It's like going back to the gym.
It's like every 3 months you're building a new agency. And when you keep people, it starts to glide a whole lot more because the agency builds off of it, and like people stay. And so the second place is, if you know people are going to leave after 90 days, start putting some touches in there at 60 and day 75. And then you'll be amazed. Like if I send you a scented candle, was just thinking about grandpa, suddenly he's overlooking the fact that it's really only 1.4 ROAS right now in the Facebook ads. And Dan Kennedy did a survey, and they found that 79% of people left a business because they just felt unappreciated, unwanted, undesired. And the businesses will tell you, it's because they found it cheaper, they went with someone else, the competition stole them. But it's almost always is because they did nothing. Like if you think about your average restaurant, when has a restaurant ever said, hey, Jeff, you were such an awesome customer. Here's just a little VIP card so you get a free appetizer next time. Cannot wait to see you again.
Some guy did that to my dad, like 15 years ago. My dad still takes me there. It's called Big Cheese in South Miami. It's gross. It's horrible. We're still going, okay? It's like, it was, no. So it works.
It works. It really does. And And so, I mean, we've got a couple standard gifts that I send to people. Bobbleheads are one of them. Like I always have like a custom bobblehead of my clients, like kind of looking like Superman. That's not really good Superman pose, but you know, like the $69 Superman bobblehead, and they just show up and there's like a bobblehead of them on their desk. Or another one I use a lot is Mix Tiles. It's like $10-15. They have these little square pictures and they interlock, so you can put like a bunch of them up on a wall. And I always send them of like a picture of them and their kids. I'm just like, hey, this would make a nice, really, like lawyers all have offices. So I'm like, this would look really nice in your office next to, you know, they have their law degree and those kind of things. And every time they look up and see their kid, like, I'm the guy who did that for them and brought that. And that, they're not staying because my Facebook ads are so good. And when I realized that, it really unlocked the game for me, because I was like, oh my God, like I'm spending. It actually happened. There's a friend of mine named Peter Sabo, who's a 2 Comma Club award winner. And he's a funny guy because he dropped out of high school, told his mom, give me a year to make this agency work. He built a 7-figure agency. They got invited to the ClickFunnels event and couldn't get in because he wasn't old enough to drink. And so they were there to give him an award and he wasn't allowed into the event. And he told me, like, for a year, he had 120 Facebook ads clients and spent every day just focusing on getting better and better and better and better and better results for them. And they were never happy. And he's like, the minute I got better at setting expectations and those little extras, suddenly clients were happy. And that's been a big game changer for me. I'm not saying you shouldn't get clients results, because obviously if you get them 0 results, they're not going to stay. But I promise you that keeping them informed and giving them little extras, which we design like every 30 to 60, 90 days tops, you're going to get some kind of extra from us, where I just invest like $50 to $100 into that relationship because I know how important it is to stay. And when you do that, your agency builds momentum so much easier. It's so much easier, because when I used to do SEO, like there was a lot of stress about where am I going to get the next client and proposals and hustling. And now it's like, I don't know, I could do nothing for 6 months and I know there would be money still there in 6 months. So it's like, you know, it's there's no, that pressure gets removed from you.
I'm kind of reminded of, first off, earlier you mentioned like go to where they are. Like we use the phrase of like, if you're selling crosses, go to church, right? Yeah. It's so obvious, like go there, right? So wherever your clients are, go there. In person, online, doesn't matter, be part of that tribe. And the second thing that we talk about very often in the group is like the 0 to 80% expert rule. Like you can go 0 to 80% as an expert really, really fast. 80 to 90% will take forever. And then there's never 100%. In fact, as soon as you get 100%, you find something else and you drop down to 80. It's like this weird, like little space. It sounds like you're applying that to your Facebook ads as well. Like you'll go to 0 to 8%, and then the client keeping activities, like it's very, like it's asymptotic, right?
Totally,
like you can spend a whole lot of time being 90 percentile, but they're still going to leave. They're still going to hate you because they're not wanted, because they're not appreciated, because you're not having conversations. So it's better to go 0 to 80% with Facebook ads and then build in that client narrative, 0 to 80%. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all designed ahead of time, very energy efficient. So too, like I use a service called Notorific. For like $1, they'll send a handwritten note to a client and they'll personalize it to each person. So I can send one to Jeff, I can send one to Frankie, I can send one to whoever, and I can send like 20 seemingly personalized handwritten messages out in 15 seconds. Like I just log, I guess filling in the shopping cart takes longer than 15 seconds, but you guys know what I mean. Like.